Hello, Pisces. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor, and today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. All right, Pisces, my most chill sign, my most laid-back people, my most, go with the flow crew, right? And I'm so happy to see you. I'm so happy to feel your energy. Some of the other signs, I love them all, of course. I love all of the signs, and of course we have our own relations to each sign, due to our placements. And yet there are just very distinct things that you cannot argue about, at least solar signs, lunar as well, but also all of them, right? So I'm so happy to see you, feel you, kind of kick it down a gear, I guess, So let's talk about the card energy we have today, right? We have that Queen of Wands. Yeah, she's powerful. And she'd also want you to like, subscribe, or leave a comment. I don't like doing the spiel, but if you want to support the channel in any way, those are the best ways to do it. There's also like a membership thing somewhere in there. I got to update all that stuff. My schedule is once again changing. We're going into school soon, so I'm hoping to be doing more readings, back up to like 3 or 4 a day, I hope. I'm crossing my fingers. But also, if you have a prayer request and you want to put that in the comment section, or you can send it over to ulaishere@gmail.com. That's my email. I know sometimes we don't want to put our business out there. I get it. I 100% do. Let's see, what else? So we have that Queen of Wands energy, right? She is fortified, strong, tempered by those fires, right? And this is a person who has been through it, has gone through very distinct phases of life, or chapters, or whatever you want to call them, seasons. This is a person that, I just think of, somebody who has been through it, gone through so many ordeals, continues to go through ordeals, but just keeps going, right? Never fully succumbing to that scorched earth, that scorched, applied to whatever. The scorched moon energy, the scorched Venus energy, whatever it is. That fiery, moving, life-bringing, passion-bringing, but also transforming, and also sometimes can get out of control, right? Become roaring. Now, on the other end, if we do not interact with it, if we do not stoke the flames within us, they will go out. So let's go ahead. We're going to turn this thing. We're going to see what the heck's going on here today, Pisces. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys. Yesterday, I have to tell you, last night, actually. So I've been working on a magical operation for the last few months. And last night, which was the eve of 8/8, it was 8/7. And I partook in some of the ritual stuff. And I was not closing up for the night, right? But I was kind of taking a little bit of a breather. Okay, so I go out to the kitchen, and the kitchen is towards the front of the house. And I thought, oh, it's late for me anyways, like 11 o'clock. Felt super late, really dark, windy outside, so many crickets, very humid. I go outside. I walk out on my porch. It's pitch black. I live in the country, right? Way out in rural. I go out. And I see they're like lights. It was so brief. I thought, oh, maybe it's fireflies. But fireflies, I almost never see them. I mean, I can't remember ever seeing them that late at night. Now, we do get a lot of fireflies here. But they're usually around dusk, right? Not too late after dusk either. And and then I thought, well, maybe it's just my mind, right? Maybe it's playing tricks on me. Anyhow, it illuminated the trees behind it. And then of course I was freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, is there somebody on the property? What's going on? Gotta go check. Gotta get the husband. Honey, get back out here. It was strange. I don't know. I can't tell you what it was. It felt significant. I mean, because it was in the middle of a working, obviously, it felt very profound. So, anyhow, I just had to share that. That really, whew. Okay, so now, let's look. We have the warrior, okay, right here. Reminds me very much of like a Roman soldier or something like this. You can see the broad shoulders, the large, solid body, right? And almost kind of, I don't know, reminds me of kind of a wearing armor, but not like a metal armor. More like you would think of Greek, Roman soldiers. Now the head up here, it looks like has the helmet, okay? So I do feel that we have a return of the warrior, right? Returning home. We have people up here cheering, okay? Now over here, it does look like the house. You can see this would be the roof, the edge of it, maybe the door right there. It looks very earthen. It reminds me of like one of those earthen houses where people like kind of dig out the side of a hill and kind of build their house in there, which is so dope, by the way. Dreams, right? I at least want a root cellar, which I am going to start on probably next year. We have the number 162. We also have, it looks like the number 224 or 54. No, maybe it's 5422. Anyways, we have all of these numbers. We have the 1, the 6, we have a 2, we have a 2, 2 2s, 4, and a 5. So we have, again, 1 6, 5 4, 2 2. Write those numbers down. Also, we'll have our lucky numbers at the end still. So we have all these numbers kind of floating around in the background, right? We also have the number, it looks like 2021. Okay, so maybe this is like a person or a reunion that has been in the works for years and it's finally happening. It feels like this is probably an earth sign person. We also have the Aries, so fire person as well. We have snakes. I feel like you're leaving a situation where you had to kind of be outside of yourself. You were kind of forced to be maybe more brutal than you ever would have been. You maybe had to be more aggressive and predatory. Well, at least in your mind. I'm not saying that you're out here being a predator, no. But like, maybe you went into like sales. You thought, well, maybe I could do this. This might be, something that I like to talk to people. I like the product, whatever. And you realize, like, sometime after, maybe even years after, you look back and you think, gosh, this really kind of forced me outside of my natural demeanor, my natural posture, my true will. And made me feel kind of like I was, maybe doing something that felt wasteful, unethical, not meaningful, whatever it was. But I also feel that there's a sense of resentment as you are returning to self, as you are shedding, right? And I feel like to some point, or at some point, to some degree, I feel you really kind of experiencing yourself turning into one of those snakes that's ready to pounce. And I think for you, that kind of mindset really just, I think, pulls away at your soul. I think it really does. It feels very corrosive for somebody like you. Now, some people are really great at doing things they don't want to do, or doing things they don't super believe in. They can just get up, do the job, and, maybe complain a little bit, but they don't really, think too deeply about what the implications are, or the time that they have put into something that doesn't mean anything to them, or, whatever. And that's all fine and well. But then there are people like us who are overthinkers, who are, kind of really romantics, right? You guys are romantics, Pisces. Now, you might be shaking your head and saying, nah, I'm chill. I just really, I meet somebody, we're friends. Like, oh gosh, a Pisces person absolutely is that best friend that you fall in love with. The best friend that, you know what I mean? Like, it starts out so easily and so closely and friendly and wonderful, and getting to know each other and doing things together, and then it happens, right? But I do feel like for you, there's this real sense of just like, I need to get back. I need to get back to who I am, who I know I am. Now, I feel that you are met with some degree of pushback, and I wonder if this is like, you've spent years of your life very busy, very involved in your work, your career, your kids, your, family life, community stuff, whatever, right? And it's taken away maybe some time or some bandwidth that you have or don't have, right, to connect with your extended family. So I feel like there's a sense of you kind of being absent a lot. Maybe even like your kids barely grew up with their cousins because you moved away, or you just didn't prioritize like going to the family things, or maybe there was like a really good reason. I don't want my kids around that whatever's happening, or these particular people, or whatever. So I feel like as you are shedding this part of yourself, and inevitably, right, anybody who's gone through a huge life change, there is often the instinct to go back to what you know, even if it's been many years. And so there's part of my family I haven't talked to in like 20 some years. And I still, when something happens in my life, usually a good thing, it's never a bad thing. I never am like, I'm going to call my family and tell them and talk to them in so many years. But, sometimes I'm like when my daughter was born, right? My daughter is the only, that I know of, the only grandchild of my mother. And my mother passed away when I was a kid, and we had a very complicated relationship as much as you can when somebody's young. But there was a lot of stuff that happened in my life. And let me just tell you, there's very good reason on both sides that, sometimes you have to walk away from your family. But like when my daughter was born, I had the instinct to want to tell everybody, but it's like, oh, well, there's a huge gap there. We're not even, I don't even feel like I'm the same person. Like even like literally my body, my flesh, my blood, my everything feels completely detached from where I came from, and yet sometimes, right, we have that calling back. And hopefully you are in a position where you want to go back. You want to see the people. You want to talk to the people. So I see you kind of like reacquainting yourself. And this is where it is. I think it's the siblings or people within your age group. Maybe you have a brother or a sister that's like, a generation kind of behind. My sister, she could be my mom. She's old enough to be. Not that she's old. I'm not saying that. She's way younger than me, especially at heart. But yeah, like there's a gap. So I understand that dynamic too. But you might be the older one, right? Maybe not though. I don't know. Maybe you're the more mature one. That's what it feels like. I'm just going to say it. Sorry, Pisces, no shade on your family. But I feel like there's just this like cattiness. That's what it's like, this snideness, this like sarcasm. Oh, look at who's back, right? Look at who's time for us now kind of energy. So I do feel like that is something that you should prepare yourself for, because I know Pisces, you're like, dude, I just want to be here and hang out. Like, I just want to be around everybody. I'm putting in my work. You don't have to rub it in, I feel like that's kind of where we're finding ourselves. So immediately, this reminded me of a schoolhouse, and then it looks like it's kind of on a rock. So I was like, I don't know, maybe it's like a lighthouse. I had one in a reading yesterday, actually. But this actually feels like, it reminds me of, if you are a little older like I am, Schoolhouse Rock, right? Or what's it called? Yes. Is that what it was called? Schoolhouse Rock? Yeah, like those cartoons, right? Where they taught you like grammar and this and that. They were cute and silly, and yeah. I feel like you are considering maybe going back to school, or you are going through some kind of education in your life right now. Now, we do have the face of an older person that is kind of in this, like, the mouth is frowning, but it's also a fish. We also have the eyes and the nose, and I feel like this is somebody that I feel like I feel like I'm just saying the most terrible things today, but it feels like somebody who has money, but even so, they're such a miserable, mean person, nobody wants to take care of them. Even if they were willing to pay out, the pocket, or like, you end up taking over the estate or whatever, it just feels like it's so... like this person has just a dark cloud, And listen, I think that you have empathy, but you're not willing to put time into it. That's an energy that feels big. But I do feel like there's a sense of, with this kind of reorienting of life, yeah, like a feeling of, I want to continue to educate myself. I want to do something different, even if it's like a thing for fun, right? Taking some night classes, getting out, meeting some people, doing a creative writing or basket weaving. Or, by the way, why is basket weaving always the joke? Like, I mean, I kind of get it, and I'm sure now that I've said that out loud, it seems like it's maybe something that is, you know, yeah. So now I'm working it out in my head. But anyways, basket weaving sounds amazing. 100% sign me up. I want to freaking weave some baskets, okay? So I've been working on whittling, by the way. That's my big thing for the summer. I am learning to whittle. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're learning something too. But I feel I don't, like, maybe you're doing stuff online, like your digital classes or whatever I feel so old saying digital on the www.coms, right? Log into the interwebs. Yeah, I don't feel like it's in a space like that, because I feel like you are getting up out of your house and going somewhere and being around people. Which sounds so sucky, right? But no, I feel like it's something that has arisen in you, like a little sprout in your heart, right? Like just the tiniest little beautiful little sprout. And I feel like for you, it's like, okay, I'm going to get myself back out here. Okay, I'm going to be in the flow of life and strangers and, just there might not be a real clear intention, but I feel like it is. You want to kind of be among the living. That's where I find my dearest Pisces today, looking for that doorway into the living. And what better way to do that than by learning something at the same time? There are so many classes, you guys. If maybe it's out of the question financially, get it, 100%. Who has extra money anymore? I don't even know what that means at this point. But there are so many places. Like if you go to your local library, there are 100% classes going on. Community education. And I know that if you fall within financial aid type of stuff, you can definitely talk to them about getting a sliding scale or even kind of being comped for the class. So places like that, library, even your senior center, if you have one of those, that's a big deal here in the Midwest. A lot of senior centers and stuff like that to go do stuff together, play bingo, what have you. So go out and look for something. It doesn't have to be expensive. If you are doing something online, though, if you are doing an online class, you can definitely find free courses on even places like, I don't know, Yale probably has free courses, Stanford, you just got to go on their websites and kind of dig around. Plus, there's just so much. You can go on YouTube, anywhere. Oh, you know what? Go over to Tarot Logic. Tarot Logic is the channel. It's my husband's new channel, and he's doing all kinds of neat stuff over there. So you can go check that one out, learn some stuff over there. Let's see. So we have a person right here. You can see. Holding what looks like a dandelion seed pod, which are the ones that we kind of, they're the puff balls. You blow it and then you make a wish. So we do have an appeal, a prayer. This one reminds me of an ant, the bottom of an ant, their behind, the rumpus. And a little smiley face. To me, it really, the ant really calls this feeling of community up. I really feel like you want to be involved more consciously in the greater whole, at least for this while, as you are reorganizing yourself and your life and refocusing and all of that. Now, we also have the turtle right here. So that tells me that you take it slow, okay? Do not rush yourself. These are the times in our life where maybe something abrupt set this off. Maybe you had a tower moment. Maybe you've been through so many of them that it's like laughable at this point. I mean, not from my point of view, laughing at you, but, I'm somebody who is very accustomed to the struggle and to lots of loss and, abuses and these kinds of things. But, for me, I don't laugh at the terrible things that happen once in a while in my life, but I kind of have to laugh, because it gets to be absurd. At some point, you're like, dude, this is just, it can't even be real. I mean, come on. Is this real? And I feel like maybe to some degree, you have the same kind of disposition. But I feel like there's a sense of just wanting to be surrounded by people. And I think it is a sense of not just like a being able to lose yourself in the greater thing, but to kind of like pull in inspiration. I think that's part of it too. It's like when you want to like do something, right? Like as a mom, my example is as a mom, for instance, a couple years ago, my daughter's 5 now, but a couple years ago when she was like 3, we would go to, different places, different kids-oriented activity spots, and I would have my eye out looking at what people are using for like wagons and strollers and what little gadgets but not just like, oh, I want this and I want this and I want that. I want to see what are they actually using or what's just laying in their, the little wagon thing that everybody has now. I feel like my daughter, we got one for her. It's like a wagon you can fold up, right? And my daughter's even has like a little canopy thing that goes on the top. I feel like I'm pushing around a princess. Like it's a freaking a royal entrance. Like, like city, like a deity, a ruler by divine right, like a solar, like Louis the whatever that dude's the seventh or whatever, the sun god or sun king or whatever. Like I'm pushing one of these kids around. My daughter, she's a solar deity. No. It's wild though. They are being pushed around like little royal entities. But yeah, I would go out to places. I would take note because listen, I'm cheap. First of all, frugal. I'm frugal. And I want to know, what am I actually going to use? Because listen, I'm not spending the money on something that what do I do with this? And this is kind of the same energy, I feel like. You are changing your life. And so, yeah, you want to go out among the other living beings, the other people doing stuff, the other people who seem to, and it's not real because nobody does, but seem to have their lives together. Like they know what they're doing. Nobody knows what they're doing, And so, yeah. I could understand why you would be drawn to the outside stream, getting in there with all the other fishies in the river, right? Number 48 as our first lucky number, 79 and 92. All right. Well, Pisces, I want to tell you I love you because I do. Thank you for being here with me tonight or today. It's actually during the day. And I'm taking a sip of my water. I finally became one of those water jug people. I drink so much water and hopefully not have a lot of errands because my goodness, yesterday I was like in 5 different bathrooms. Sorry, TMI, but you know what I mean? Like so much water. But if I lift it up, it's going to sound crazy. It's full of ice too. So it's like, Lenor, what kind of water reservoir do you have mixing around back there? All right, let's see. We're gonna end with one of these cards. These are the Wild Offering Oracle, Oracle cards. Compassion. As you pray each day for greater compassion, a new self is born, drawing new people and experiences. Dear Lord, dear Divine, dear Universe, dear Ineffable, help me feel ever deepening self-acceptance. May I see myself as you see me. Yeah, give me a little dose of that meta perception. I'm making myself snort over here. I'm sorry. I'm ridiculous right now. It's hot. It's hot. It's sweaty. I feel unhinged. Today, right now, as I'm doing this, it's the 8/8 Lionsgate portal. You know, I'm coming off of this, like I said, I was doing an operation last night. So tying that up, I don't know if you've ever done like an extended ceremony or ritual or series of rituals, but when you are finishing it off, my goodness, it can be exhilarating and also very draining. So anyways, I love you. If you want to like, subscribe, or leave a comment, I'd love to hear from you. Send those prayer requests over. Take care of yourself. I love you. We'll talk soon. Good night.